Hello, welcome to the Yamiko Podfix. This is Mind Games Were All Related by Electrix_RK. This is part 3 of Izuku's Different Family series, chapter 1 through 3. Summary: Izuku and Hitoshi are brothers. Aizawa is tired of his two sons causing chaos. Classmen are confused how the three are connected to each other. Chapter 1: Imada and Yamazawa. Izuku and Hitoshi were twins. You would never know that by looking at them. Izuku was shorter than Hitoshi by a few inches, standing at 5'7". His hair was shoulder length and black eyes staring into your soul. The eye bags matched, but that was where their similarities in appearance ended. Hitoshi, meanwhile, was 5'10", gravity-defying purple hair, purple eyes shining with mischief, and he had similar eye bags to that of his brother. Looking at them both, Izuku would be easier to relate to their father, Shouta Aizawa. The boys had never met their mother. The woman clearly wanting nothing to do with them, having just dumped them on Shouta. Their father didn't seem to care, taking both of them in, taking care of them without any question. Their papa, Hisashi, caring more about them than the woman had ever done. Their quirks didn't match entirely either. If you studied them enough, then the connection would come. Hitoshi having brainwashing, requiring a call response for it to activate. Hitoshi could give commands for the person to follow. Izuku, on the other hand, had compulsion, his quirk allowing him to push suggestions into someone's mind that they would be more inclined to follow, also requiring the call response activation. All right, problem children. We have 2 new transfer students. Whatever you do, don't bother them too much. Either of them. A quirk glare following from Aizawa. Come in, boys. Classmen were all looking towards the door as the 2 boys walked in, one looking slightly more excited than the other. Izuku, Imada. Pleasure to meet you. The raven-haired teen finished with a lazy wave towards the class. Hitoshi Yamazawa. The rest of the class stared at him, waiting for him to continue. When nothing came, they moved their gaze to Aizawa once again. Imada, you can sit behind Bakugo, and Yamazawa, you can sit beside Todoroki. Wonderful, Izuku thought. His dad clearly wanted him to suffer by placing him behind the blonde bundle of joy. Izuku could admit the boy was hot, but left much to be desired in the personality department. He much preferred the candy cane teen beside Hitoshi. Hitoshi was quite happy with his placement in the class. Todoroki was close to him in dry personality. Izuku would get on well with the other teen too. Speaking of his brother, he felt bad for him. Placed behind the exploding boy. Have a free period. Don't wake me. And Aizawa was in his sleeping bag, ignoring everyone. Yo guys, how come you're only entering the class now? Kirishima asked the 2 brothers. We're waiting for Nazu to complete the paperwork, Hitoshi replied, hiding a smirk behind his hand as he finished. Yeah, he's clearly finished the paperwork now. Izuku deadpanned towards them. How are you 2 connected to each other? You came in together. Oh, we've always lived together. Izuku shrugged like it was nothing. Aizawa was listening and hiding in his own matching smirk to Hitoshi in his sleeping bag. This year is going to be very interesting indeed. His sons enjoyed winding people up. It was hilarious when they did it to Hisashi, not so much when it was him. His problem class? That was going to be so much fun to watch. He would never admit that. It was also extremely tiring, and he was quite tired from them constantly causing chaos. Chaos was going to hit the remainder of the class before they even knew it. Chapter 2: Chaos begins. Summary: Izuku and Hitoshi unleash chaos on Mineta. They don't care. He deserved it. As it turns out, Shouta was right. Chaos had started as soon as Izuku and Hitoshi were able to start. Yue had moved into a dorm room system. Minato was really annoying the Aizawa Yamada brothers. The boy was a pervert peeping on the girls, stealing items with clothing. He was just an all-around scumbag. The type of guy that in no way belonged in the UA Hero course. No one wanted him in class with them, so Izuku came up with the plan. Buy a bunch of posters without it looking suspicious, compel Minato into putting them in his room, break the connection, and watch the chaos unfold. Once they were compelled to do something, it would get done before they eventually realized what they had done. Hey, Todoroki, would you mind lending us your father's credit card? Izuku asked, turning to look at the stoic teenager over his shoulder. Hitoshi trying to shield the laptop from prying eyes. Spend as much of his money as possible. Preferably make it as random as possible, too, Shouta replied, left side lighting on fire as the smaller teen placed a kiss on his cheek. Izuku decided to blatantly ignore the smirk and wink Hitoshi sent his way. Picking up the blonde teen, flushing bright red at the gesture across the room. Since Izuku ignored it, and it wasn't in line of sight of Kaminari to Hitoshi, the blonde must have mistaken it. Hitoshi definitely felt something towards the electricity user. They would have to wait a couple of days for the items to arrive, but when they did, Minato was in for a shock. Right, are we sure they're all here, and that we have everything we need? Izuku queried as he was going through the items to make sure they had all the necessities. Everything's here, you and your boyfriend. Shouta stepped to the side, flushed red, getting control of his quirk before he lit on fire. Let's get going. Izuku gathered all the items, following Hitoshi out the door, Shouta tailing along behind them both. They spotted Minato hanging out in the common room, trying to peek up Momo's skirt. Yeah, no, they were putting a stop to that straight away. Hey, Minato, how would you like to join us in talking about hot girls? Izuku inwardly cringed. Hitoshi, Shouta, and himself were all 100% gay. Why Minato would believe that, he didn't know. Yeah, the grape head's eyes going blank. Izuku knew he had control of the boy. Putting the items in his arms. You should go and put these in your room. They'll look fantastic. Izuku let his composure settle in before he released it, letting his quirk drop. Well, they'll see the results tomorrow. The results did appear the next morning, as the entirety of the 1A dorms were awoken to the sound of Minato screaming. What's wrong, Minato? It is highly inappropriate behavior to wake up everyone screaming. Ida was in the middle of chasing the other boy. Someone put posters all over my room, Minato cries out. What's wrong with the posters? They were gay porn posters. That's even fucking better, Grapes. What? Stop fucking staring at me like that, you fuckers. You know Dad and Papa will kill us over this, right? Hitoshi leaned down to whisper to his brother. Worth it. That's how Shouta found class 1A. Minato screaming about gay porn. Todoroki with an Izuku-shaped sun in his lap, blushing like crazy, while his Hitoshi-shaped son was giving Kaminari an aneurysm from blushing too much. He knew the chaos was going to start the moment his two sons entered his class. He could only sigh. He didn't get paid enough for this shit. Chapter 3. Time to Die. Summary. Shouta learns his son's chaos with Minato. Izuku and Hitoshi drag Shouta and Denki into helping with their next plan. What have the Aizawa Yamada brothers got up to this time? Hitoshi and Izuku were trying to stop the laughter from exploding out of them as they sat in front of their dad with the rest of the class. The man was looking like he could do with having multiple coffees already before retreating back into his sleeping bag to hide from whatever chaos was about to ensue next. Alright, who wants to be the first to tell me what happened here? Aizawa dragged out slowly. He sounded done with today, and it was only a couple of hours into the day. Last night, someone called me to get my Tamsin, and I felt my mind go completely blank. Next thing I know, I woke up in this morning to see gay porn posters all over the walls of my room. Minato cried at the twins' father. Hitoshi had the awareness to see the quick side glance their dad shot in their direction at the mind going blank sentence. Okay, you can all go back to your room, to your dorms. Amada, Yamazawa, stay here, please. Well, they were going to get into trouble with the man. It was worth it, though. Minato was a pervert. He got what was coming to him. Why did either of you think it was a good idea to do that? Their dad asked them in an exasperated tone. Well, in all fairness, we didn't actually do anything. I didn't compel him to do it himself, Izuku replied, whistling innocently. They don't know what your quirks are, or what they do they? Aizawa groans at his sense. Nope. Izuku popping the pea like he was proud of what had happened. Of course he was. Get back to your dorms, problem sons. Aizawa patting the both of them on the head before they turned to leave. Toshi, come to my room. Izuku turned to his brother. He always wondered where the purple came from. Wait, purple? He had an idea. I have an idea. They walked past a certain boy's room as they had headed towards Izuku's dorm, and they had their next target in sight. They might die from this one, but again, worth it. How are we gonna get in there? Hitoshi was in the middle of planning their next dose of chaos properly. Your boyfriend could be a great help. He loves pranks after all, Izuku suggested. Maybe his own boyfriend, Shouta, could help distract their target a bit. True. Denki might be a big piece in this. We can't use the same people for all the parts. That would look too suspicious. Hitoshi sighed, looking at the notes in front of him. It's alright. Denki and Shouta will help. I have just the person in mind for the other part. From the noise the brothers could hear coming from the common area of the dorms, Shouta was doing a great job as a distraction. Okay, Denki, you're up. Just get us a shampoo bottle, Hitoshi whispered to the other boy. No problem. This is gonna be great. Denki laughed, heading towards the room, opening the unlocked door and slipping in. He returned a minute later carrying the shampoo. Perfect, Denki. I see why Hitoshi loves you. Izuku winked at the blonde, Denki flushing tomato red and choosing to hide his face in the crook of his elbow. Flirt with your own damn boyfriend. Come on. Hitoshi, pushing himself to his feet, whisper shouted at Izuku. Time to replace some shampoo with neon purple hair dye instead. Oh boy, Izuku was looking forward to seeing the results of this one. Your turn now, Izu. Izuku decided to go the quick way, taking the stairs down instead of the elevator, walking over and tapping someone on the shoulder. Hey, was all he needed to say. He just needed a response to that. He got one. Oh, whatever they were going to say cut off by Izuku's quirk taking hold. leaning close to whisper his command in the other's ear so he wouldn't be overheard. You should go put this back where it belongs. The 14s had no doubt that the shampoo bottle would be found back in its original spot. The only person in the class that used that specific type. Izuku walked back across the room to Shouta before canceling his quirk, watching as the compulsion was acted upon straight after the quirk was dropped. We're good now, Shouta. You can stop the distractions. Sorry, I didn't mean to almost light the kitchen on fire. Shouta deadpan towards the class. No one let him cook again! Izuku laughed out loud at that. He was sure everyone in the class knew by now to not let Sho near a stove. Apparently not. Quickly heading upstairs to relay their success to Hitoshi and Denki. Tomorrow morning was going to be another wonderful morning. A wonderful morning it was indeed. Class 1A were awoken to the sound of screams again. This time it wasn't the screams of anguish for Mineta. No, this was worse. Who the fuck did this? Why is my fucking hair purple? I swear, when I find who did it, I'm gonna fucking kill you. It was Kosuke, looking like he was about to burst a vein with how red his rage was. Izuku, Hitoshi, and Denki struggling to rein in their laughter to stop it from being obvious it was them. Shouta just stood by with a small smirk on his face. Crap. Izuku just knew in that moment his boyfriend was going to stir the chaos some more. New look, Bakugo? It makes you look less like a Pomeranian. So I say it's an improvement. You fucker, icy hot. Izuku, trying to explode his way over to Shouta, Kirishima, and Sero holding the blonde. Well, he used to be blonde back. So, when Aizawa walked in again to chaos in the 1A dorm, a purple-haired Bakugo being held back by Sero and Kirishima, the smirking Todoroki standing in front of them, his two sons and Kaminari laughing hard off to one of the sides as the rest of the class slowly trickled into the common area before developing into fits of laughter. He just had to turn around and forget he saw anything. He didn't get paid enough to deal with their shit. He'll get Hizashi to deal with them next time. That was Mind Games Were All Related, written by Electric_RK. There are 11 total chapters in this fic. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.